CIA operatives Matt and his pregnant fiancée Emily are alerted by their boss Chuck that their target is at the location. The two arrive at the mansion of their target and leave their guns in the car. Their target is Balthazar Gore, former KGB-turned-terrorist, and their task is to steal a device called an ICS, which can control any electronic device. They soon lay eyes on Gore, and Emily sprays her wrist with a substance before introducing herself to Gore and shaking his hand. The substance has captured Gore's print, and the two rush to his office to steal the key. They break into Gore's safe and grab the key, but the alarms begin to blare. Guards rush the room but are easily taken out. Matt and Emily fight their way to the street and manage to escape in their car. They meet MI6 agent and Emily's ex, Baron, at the rendezvous point where a private jet is waiting for them. The two board the plane, where Matt locks the ICS away in a secure case. He orders champagne, but Emily refuses. He insists that she drink with him, and Emily reveals she is pregnant, showing him 5 pregnancy tests she has done. She is worried about what Matt might feel, but Matt reassures her that he's in and having a family is all he ever wanted. Emily goes to use the bathroom but learns that the bathroom is out of service. Emily immediately senses danger when the steward grabs and holds her hostage, demanding Matt hand over the key. Matt tosses the key and tackles the steward. The other staff of the airplane all begin to attack, but Matt and Emily fight them off. Even one of the pilots joins the battle. One of the stewards takes aim at Emily, but Matt attacks him, causing him to shoot the remaining pilot, making the plane descend quickly. The steward grabs the ICS, but just then the plane hits a mountaintop and begins to slide down the slope. Matt and Emily try to hold on as the plane causes an avalanche behind them while heading towards a cliff. Matt grabs the last parachute and straps it onto Emily, telling her to save the baby, but Emily locks him between her legs and pulls the chute just before the plane crashes in a ball of fire. The two safely land and hug in relief. The two begin to reevaluate their lives now that a baby is in the picture, and realizing they've been compromised, they decide to fake their deaths and start a new life together. 15 years later, Matt and Emily are living in a suburban home under new identities with their 2 kids, Alice and Leo. They're especially scared of Alice, who has just hit her teenage years, which technically means she's a monster. The kids also suspect their parents are hiding secrets, as Alice heard Matt speaking fluent Russian to the AC guy, and they can't seem to get their story right about where and how they met, but Matt and Emily just blow them off. On the way to school, Emily tries to suggest an activity to reconnect with Alice, like movie night or popcorn, but Alice is already planning to study at her friend's house. They drop the kids off and stick around to see Alice kiss her boyfriend, James, and Emily almost loses it. Alice spots them and calls, telling them they need to get a life. That statement really hits a chord with Emily, who is still fussing over it that night. She then hears multiple notifications come in on Alice's laptop and cannot help herself but open it up, where she sees messages from James joining Alice at her friend's house. Matt stumbles upon her snooping around, and Emily reveals she thinks Alice is up to something. Matt tries to talk her out of digging around, but Emily finds the correct password on a sticker and logs in. They see messages about something called the chemical apocalypse, and Leo overhears and reveals they are at a club. Emily and Matt race over to the club and head inside the packed venue. Emily soon spots Alice, and they confront her, demanding that she comes with them, but Alice thinks it's not a big deal. Some older guys try to stop them from taking Alice, insulting the two, calling them boomers. They try to ignore the insults and leave, but when one of the guys grabs Alice, Emily destroys him. The others try to attack, but Matt jumps in, ultimately pushing a man onto the DJ table, crashing the party. Matt grabs the phone of a man who is recording and deletes the video before the two rush out. On the way home, Alice is mad that her parents won't allow her to live her life. She is mad at them for reading her texts, but Matt reminds her they paid for the cell, so technically, the texts are everyone's. Alice is confused as to how her parents fought off the guys, and Matt lies, saying they did a few taekwondo classes, but Alice doesn't believe them, calling them fake. Emily and Matt then ground her and send her to bed. That night, Emily notes that the fight at the club really reignited a spark in her and wants to get back into the game, but Matt reminds her they got out to protect the kids. He thinks it's just pent-up frustration and knows exactly what she needs. Alice and Leo hear the commotion begin and become traumatized, but it turns out Matt and Emily are sparring. The next morning there is a ring at the door, and it turns out to be Chuck, who found them from a video from the club. He warns them that since he found them, their enemies will come after them soon, looking for the ICS key. Emily thinks that was lost in the crash, but the CIA found no key and a bunch of Gore's men dead. Chuck thinks Baron was the one who sold them out and is now working with Gore to find the key, which they assume Matt and Emily have. Chuck needs to get them out, but he is suddenly killed by Belarusian gangsters who open fire on the house. Matt and Emily rush to the garage and grab their bags. They burst out of the garage in their family van and escape under heavy gunfire when Matt reveals that he actually took the ICS key 15 years ago. The gunmen chasing in their trucks open fire, forcing them to cut through yards and race along the suburban streets. Matt reveals he hid the ICS key in England with Emily's mother, Ginny, who is a former MI6 sniper. The plan is to get the key first, then use it to get the CIA to protect them from Gore. The gangsters are still on their tail, and a gunman fires into the car at them. Matt mixes soda and Mentos and tosses it into the truck, causing a distraction before running them off the road. Alice is at school when she sees the beat-up van pull up outside. Matt and Emily rush in and grab the two before rushing off to the airport. At the airport, Emily and Matt reveal they are visiting Emily's mother, which is shocking to the kids as Emily told them she was dead. The two still try to play it off, refusing to come clean about what is really going on. During the flight, Emily wonders if they should come clean to the kids, but Matt thinks they need to keep lying to raise normal kids. They arrive in England and pass through airport security, where a camera picks them up, but they slip onto a bus before agents led by Baron arrive. They soon get to their stop, but one of Gore's men is also on board and reports back to Gore. Emily stealthily steals car keys from a man boarding the bus and passes them off to Matt, who soon pulls up in a Range Rover, claiming it's their rental. As the family drives, the kids ask about Wi-Fi, but Matt and Emily know they can be tracked through the kids' cell phones, and Emily takes both cell phones and destroys the SIM cards. They stop at a gas station to get gas and snacks, and the kids head inside the convenience store. There, Alice notices that their passports all have fake names and wonders what they could be hiding. Meanwhile, Gore's men report back to him the family's location, and he plans to send more men. Baron also gets the location where the family has pulled over. Matt and Emily are outside when they notice some bikers and a car pull up, surrounding them. Matt ignites the gas nozzle, holding the men back while Emily fights off the men. As Alice and Leo watch on in shock, Matt and Emily destroy the men. Matt grabs the kids, and Emily meets them around the back. Alice wants an explanation, but Emily and Matt demand they get into the car before Emily sends another man flying with the car. Baron and the MI6 agents then drive past but quickly make a U-turn to apprehend the family. Matt manages to shoot the tires of a truck carrying pipes, blocking the road and covering their escape. Alice and Leo are trying to piece together what is going on and want their parents to come clean about who they really are. They finally come clean, revealing they are former CIA spies. Alice thinks it's cool, and Leo wonders if Matt can beat up all the kids' dads at his school. At the gas station, Baron and Wendy identify the mercenaries as the Volka, the Belarusian mafia. She wonders where he got his intel on the family, but Baron tells her he has been tracking the Volka all along. He is insistent on finding Emily, and Wendy reminds him they are looking for the family, not just her. The family arrives at Ginny's manor and meets her as she is shooting birds. Emily introduces the kids to her, but Ginny reveals she has seen them from pictures Matt sent to her a few years ago. Leo offers his grandma a hug, but she reminds him she is British and tells him to pick up the dead bird, but Emily has to tell him to drop it. They get inside, where Ginny's lover, Nigel, joins them, who turns out to also be Ginny's MI6 trainee. Baron and Wendy are still tracking the family. They were able to track the car using satellite but lost it under cloud cover. They pull up locations around the area and identify the manor registered to a Fox Hunter Limited, and Baron recalls the company as registered to Ginny, the legendary MI6 sniper. At the manor, Matt tells Ginny the situation and that the ICS key is hidden in her home. Emily and Ginny then have an argument where Emily makes it clear she has also tried to be different from Ginny and present in her kids' lives. Ginny, however, realizes that Alice hates her after she has given up everything, and Alice overhears all this. Ginny just wants to spend time with her grandkids as she knows she won't see them much after this. Baron finds out that Ginny is Emily's mother, but he hides it from Wendy and sends her off to check the other locations. Meanwhile, a team of mercenaries infiltrates the manor and begins approaching the house. Matt takes Emily to an area just outside the manor where he hid the ICS key. They locate the key when they hear a helicopter landing and race back to the manor. Inside, they find Ginny and Nigel bound. They go for the kids when they are surrounded by men and led to another room where Alice and Leo are also bound. Matt shows them the key, begging them to release the kids, when suddenly Chuck steps out, revealing he faked his death to motivate Matt and Emily to go for the drive. Turns out Baron is clean and he really has been tracking Gore and the Volca, and Chuck was behind this all along. Matt and Emily are left in disbelief as he takes the key. He reveals that after the accident and ICS was lost, he was sidelined and lost everything, including his marriage. Meanwhile, Ginny is able to sneak over to a hidden weapons drawer and shoots 2 nearby mercenaries with tranquilizer darts. She then battles some incoming men, and Nigel gets a shot in the arm in the scuffle. The gunshot allows Matt and Emily to disarm a few nearby men, but Chuck grabs the kids, and there is a standoff, but agents come up behind the two and knock them out. Chuck brings the kids to the waiting chopper, and they take off. Matt and Emily come to a few minutes after, and they go to check the security cameras to track the chopper. They see Leo showing them his smart thumb ring, and they track its GPS to a building where an event is taking place. Matt and Emily turn up and realize the event has high security, so they're forced to leave their guns behind. Meanwhile, we see Chuck meeting with buyers to give them a display of the ICS's power. He then has his hacker cut power to the city, including the building. Matt and Emily inside spot some of Chuck's men entering an elevator and join them. To further display the power of the ICS, Chuck has his hacker access the Thames barrier, revealing he has the power to flood the entire city. Meanwhile, Emily and Matt take out the men in the elevator, then proceed to fight and beat the men on the floor. Baron and the MI6 show up. He is not there to arrest them but to get Chuck and Gore. Matt, Emily, and the MI6 agents barge into the next room, and Chuck takes off running with Matt and Emily chasing after him. He meets up with his men, who are leading Leo and Alice to a boat. Emily and Matt try to go after them, and Gore's men try to stop them, but Ginny turns up with a sniper rifle, allowing Matt and Emily to steal the men's bikes and take off after the boat. Gore's men are also on their tail, opening fire on them. Matt uses his bike to take out 2 shooters, while Emily pushes a man from his bike. Emily manages to steal a boat, and Matt soon joins her, and they race after Chuck. Chuck orders his hacker to meet up with him at their rendezvous point. She packs up and heads to her van, but Nigel, who was posted outside the building by Ginny, spots her. Before the hacker can drive off, Nigel drives into her van, disabling it. He goes to check, and the hacker is passed out with the key and laptop right beside her. He contacts Ginny, who informs Emily and Matt, who want him to close the barrier, but he has no idea what to do. Emily and Matt catch up with Chuck's boat and manage to both jump on board. They fight off the men on board, with even Leo chipping in. They need the barrier closed, and Nigel freaks out and smashes the laptop, accidentally closing the barrier. Emily tosses Leo and Alice off the boat while Matt fights Chuck. He manages to knock Chuck out and jump from the boat, leaving Chuck to smash into the barrier. Afterward, Matt commends Leo for being brave and helping them stop everything, and Emily hugs Alice tightly, happy she is safe. Ginny and Nigel reunite with them, and the family walks away.